What if everything you've been taught about death is wrong? What if dying isn't an end, but a passage? Ancient Tibetan teachings say that's exactly the case. According to the sacred text known as the Bardo, often called the Tibetan Book of the Dead, death is only the beginning of a journey far more profound than most people can imagine. Written under the spiritual guidance of the great master Padmasambhava, this mystical guide lays out a map of what happens after the body dies. But here's the secret. It's not just about death. These teachings apply to life just as much. The journey begins with the Chikai Bardo, the moment of death itself. In this instant, the soul is released from the body and faces something called the clear light of pure awareness. This isn't symbolic. This light is the raw, radiant nature of consciousness, what some might call God, Source, or universal mind. For those who are spiritually prepared, it's a chance to merge with pure liberation. But here's the catch. Most people aren't ready. Bound by fear, attachment, and confusion, the soul turns away from this light, drawn back toward the illusions it knows, desires, identity, emotion, ego. And that's when the journey through the Bardos truly begins. The Bardo Thodol describes 3 stages of transition: Chikai Bardo, the moment of death and the encounter with pure light; Chonyid Bardo, the realm of visions, where the mind's own projections appear as gods, demons, and karmic landscapes; Sidpa Bardo, the pathway toward rebirth, shaped by attachment and unresolved desire. These aren't just metaphors for some mystical realm. They are reflections of the mind, mirrors that show us what we've carried, what we've suppressed, and what we've failed to let go. The tragedy is this: most souls miss the opportunity. They fail to recognize the light. They react in fear. They cling to illusions, and they enter a new cycle of suffering. But the teachings say liberation is always possible at every stage. That's why preparation is everything. Tibetan masters teach that meditation in life is not just for peace of mind, it's training for death. Every time you sit in stillness, you're practicing the moment of letting go. Every moment of mindfulness is a rehearsal for the instant when the body drops away, and your awareness either merges with the light or flees into fear. And that's the first truth no one tells you. Death doesn't bring enlightenment. Awareness does. To awaken in the Bardos, you must first awaken in life. This video will guide you through what that means, step by step. In the next part, we'll dive into the second Bardo, the terrifying and transformative realm of visions that mirror your inner world. What you see there will either trap you or free you. Once the clear light has faded and the soul has recoiled from its brilliance, the next stage begins. This is the Chonyid Bardo, often called the Bardo of visions. But these visions aren't fantasies. They are projections of your mind made visible. And they're terrifying, unless you understand what they really are. In this realm, everything you've hidden from yourself comes alive. Desire, fear, anger, shame, lust, regret. And they take form, appearing as gods, demons, flashing lights, wild sounds, and overwhelming landscapes that feel more real than waking life. But here's the key: nothing you see is separate from you. The peaceful and wrathful deities that appear in this stage aren't external spirits. They are symbolic representations of your own inner world. The peaceful ones represent your clarity, your compassion, your higher self. The wrathful ones, your suppressed trauma, repressed emotion, and karmic residue. To the soul that doesn't recognize this, the Bardo becomes a nightmare. But to the one who has prepared, the one who has practiced mindfulness, the illusion can be seen for what it is. And in that moment, liberation is possible. This Bardo teaches one central truth. You are not experiencing reality. You are experiencing your reactions to it. This is true in death, but it's also true in life. Think about it. When someone angers you, where does that emotion really come from? When you feel threatened, is the threat always real, or is it a memory echoing? When you desire something desperately, what part of you is still empty? In the Chonyid Bardo, these patterns stop being abstract. They become form. The light becomes too bright. The sound becomes overwhelming. The deities roar and dance. It feels like chaos. But here's the paradox. The more chaotic it seems, the closer you are to seeing through the illusion. Because if you can stand in that storm and say, "This is my mind, and my mind can change," then you have the power to move through the Bardo rather than getting stuck in it. Tibetan masters say that every life challenge is a rehearsal for this Bardo. The fight with your partner, the panic before a big decision, the grief that paralyzes you. These are mini Chonyids, and the way you move through them determines how you'll move through death. So what can you do now? Cultivate awareness. Start watching your thoughts instead of becoming them. Practice meditation, not as an escape, but as a mirror. Start asking, what is this emotion trying to teach me? What am I reacting to that isn't even happening now? Every time you respond with awareness rather than fear, you prepare yourself. And that preparation could change your next life or end the cycle altogether. Because here's the great truth of the Bardo Thodol. Even in the depths of confusion, awakening is possible. But only if you can remember, what you see is not who you are. Now we come to the third stage, the final Bardo described in the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It's called the Sidpa Bardo, and it's perhaps the most haunting of all. Why? Because this is the place where your next life is chosen, not by the universe, not by some god, but by you, guided by your attachments, your cravings, your karma. If the soul has not awakened in the first two Bardos, it now faces the pull of rebirth. Visions of human parents in union appear, symbolizing the soul's entrance into a new womb. And in that moment, desire is destiny. If you cling to the image, to the feeling, to the longing, you fall back into the wheel of samsara, another life, another identity, another forgetfulness. But there's another path, one few take, one few are ready for. It's the path of detachment. If the soul, even in this final moment, can see through the illusion, can witness the temptation of rebirth without reacting, it can break the cycle and merge with the clear light it missed before. This is not about rejection, it's about recognition. Recognizing that what appears to be salvation is often another prison. Let's bring this down to your life right now. Every time you act from unconscious desire, whether for approval, control, pleasure, or power, you strengthen the karmic pattern that pulls you back into suffering. It's not about denying desire, it's about understanding where it leads. You might get what you want, but at what cost? Desire is insatiable. What satisfies you today enslaves you tomorrow. That's the lesson of the Sidpa Bardo. But here's the paradox. Desire isn't evil, it's fuel, if you can transmute it. When you feel the pull, pause. Ask yourself, is this true freedom or another chain? Mindfulness in moments of craving is spiritual alchemy. Each time you choose awareness over impulse, you train the soul to remain free. Tibetan masters teach Phowa, a powerful meditation designed to prepare you for this exact moment in the Sidpa Bardo. Through visualization, breath, and mantra, practitioners learn to direct their consciousness toward the clear light, bypassing the pull of rebirth. But it only works if you practice in life. At the moment of death, it's too late to learn. That's why all preparation begins now. This stage, the Sidpa Bardo, is not just about death. It mirrors how you move through life. Do you let craving guide your choices? Are your relationships rooted in attachment? Do you chase goals from fear or alignment? These aren't just personal issues, they are spiritual decisions, and their consequences ripple far beyond this life. The teachings say that even in this final bardo, liberation is possible, even when desire arises, even when karma pulls, even when rebirth calls. If the soul can remain still, witnessing without clinging, it becomes free, not because it escaped death, but because it saw through illusion. You've seen the path, 3 bardos, 3 chances, 3 mirrors reflecting the deepest layers of your soul. But here's the truth that shifts everything. These bardos aren't just after death. You're living them right now. Every moment is a transition. Every thought is a choice. And every emotional reaction is either a chain or a key. The Tibetan Book of the Dead isn't just a map of the afterlife. It's a manual for waking up in life, because what you do now determines whether you'll recognize the clear light or miss it again. Let's rewind. What does it really mean to prepare for death? It's not about running from it. It's not about being fearless. It's about becoming aware of the illusions you cling to, the emotions that control you, the habits that hypnotize you, the distractions that numb you. In Tibetan tradition, awareness isn't passive, it's active. It's a discipline, and that's what most people avoid. We live surrounded by noise, chasing dopamine, fleeing discomfort, looking everywhere except within. But the bardos demand stillness, reflection, honesty, because in the end, you meet yourself. There's no hiding in the clear light. So what now? What can you do today to prepare? Let's break it down. 1. Build a mindful relationship with death. Most people fear death because they've never examined it. It's the great unknown, the shadow they never turn to face. But Tibetan masters say, death is a teacher. When you meditate on mortality, life becomes precious. This isn't morbid, it's freeing. Practice. Sit in silence. Visualize the moment of death, not with fear, but curiosity. Ask, what am I afraid to lose? What have I not yet accepted? What is truly mine to take with me? You'll begin to see that most of what we obsess over is dust. 2. Watch your mind like a mirror. The Chonyad Bardo teaches that your projections become your reality, and that's just as true now. How often do you blame others for what you're unwilling to see in yourself? React emotionally without understanding why? Attach meaning to events based on your wounds, not facts. This is the training, to observe without identifying, to feel without becoming. Start asking throughout the day, is this the truth or my story about it? The more you practice in life, the more power you'll have in death. Because when the terrifying deities come, they won't scare you. You'll say, this is me, and I choose peace. 3. Disentangle from attachment while you're still alive. The Sidpa Bardo shows that desire leads to rebirth. But what are you desiring right now that's shaping your karmic path? Desire for success, for attention, for validation. These aren't evil, but they're tricky. They promise fulfillment, but create dependence. Tibetan Buddhism doesn't say renounce everything. It says know what's real, enjoy life, but don't get lost in it. Practice gratitude without clinging, presence without craving, service without ego. The more you free yourself now, the easier it is to let go when it matters most. 4. Practice death daily. Through meditation, every time you sit in stillness, you're simulating the Bardo. You're watching thoughts rise and fall. You're letting go of identity. You're preparing to meet the clear light. This isn't poetry, it's physics of the soul. If you can recognize the light in meditation, you're more likely to recognize it after death. Meditation isn't optional on this path. It's the gateway. Even 10 minutes a day changes everything. 5. Live with compassion. It's your soul's armor. In the Chonyid Bardo, wrathful deities symbolize suppressed pain. But peaceful deities? They arise from compassion. Every act of kindness becomes a beacon in the Bardos. Every time you forgive, help, or love without condition, you're planting karma that supports liberation. Think about that. Your next life may hinge not on how much you achieved, but on how much you cared. Let compassion lead, even when it's hard, especially then. 6. Explore Phowa, the art of conscious dying. This Tibetan practice involves preparing the mind to consciously exit the body at death. It's like learning to drive before you're pushed onto the highway. Through visualization and mantra, you learn to direct your consciousness upward toward the crown of the head and into the clear light. It takes dedication. But even occasional practice strengthens your soul's compass. Ask a qualified teacher. Begin gently and let death become something sacred, not feared. 7. Remember, liberation is always possible. This is the heart of the Bardo Thodol. Even if you're unprepared, even if you fail at first, even if you fall into fear, the door is always open. Every Bardo, every stage is an invitation to remember your true nature, to wake up, to let go, to come home. Don't wait until death to live this way. Start now. Wake up when the alarm goes off. Wake up when you feel irritation. Wake up when you want to numb out. Every small awakening trains your soul. The final message: live as if you're already dying, because you are. Not in a depressing way, but in a freeing one. Life is a Bardo. It's a transition. It's an echo of the states to come. And the more awake you are now, the smoother the transition becomes later. Let your daily life become your preparation, not with fear, but with devotion, not to dogma, but to truth. The truth that you are more than this body, more than this name, more than this lifetime. You are awareness itself, and when you remember that, you no longer fear the Bardos. You use them, you transcend them, and you return home at last. Want to go deeper? Some of the Bardo teachings are too sacred to share openly online. That's why we created our free newsletter, Insights Academy, a private space where we dive into the deeper layers of esoteric wisdom, ancient texts, and inner training. Sign up below to receive your free copy of the Kybalion, a powerful hermetic guide to universal law. Let this be the start of your real journey. And if this video touched something deep inside you, comment below with, "I understood it," because maybe, just maybe, you were meant to hear this now. The journey doesn't begin when you die. It begins the moment you wake up.